Hi, I'm going to be analyzing the 2004 film Turtles Can Fly and connecting it to the reading Children in Contemporary Iranian Cinema When We Were Children. So, one advantage that was mentioned is that children can reveal social contradictions without like being directly critical or criticizing in a way, meaning that because they're children, you don't expect them to obviously they're not going to know, and you don't want them to be like, oh, you can't say that, or meaning they can say something and it be true and they wouldn't know, and this could reveal what is actually happening in society, that people don't actually know. And because a child is saying it, you won't expect them to know that. And obviously you can't have a child oh, so we're gonna restrict a child to say this. No, it's not, obviously, because it's a kid. You don't expect them to actually know the what's happening in society. And as I said, kids aren't really expected to understand what's going on in the adult world. And because of this, their questions that they have, because kids question a lot of things, it can really expose how unfair and unjust our society is really. It was written that the child becomes a mirror in which the failures of adults and institutions can reflect without direct confrontation, which is basically what I was saying earlier. They can say something and then it being true, but then they don't know that what they said was actually it affected them, or it's some way obviously direct confrontational, meaning they don't know that what they said is really what's happening in a way. In Turtles Can Fly, it's really clear that when the children when they see the aftermath of the war, so obviously they get curious as to what's happening, and so because of this, it really gives them an insight of what all the misunderstandings and what's really happening in the adult world, like I said. And it really shows why what the adults are doing, but not really in a subtle way, so another advantage would be obviously children are openly empathetic in a way, and you because of this, it really invokes societal problems, and it can have an emotional impact in a way. I feel seeing a child, obviously seeing a child in being hurt or in danger or anything like that, it really can make issues more urgent, because obviously you don't want a child going through that rather than an adult, because they're an adult. You would expect them to be able to do it or deal with it themselves, which is what I mean by empathy. And when a child is more involved, it's more urgent, like I said. There's a scene where Agrin, I believe that's how you say it, Agrin's experience with sexual violence, and I feel if an adult faced this, it would be it would be completely different. But because Agrin was a child, it's really trauma, basically, and it really reflects how Satter means when he says that children allow access to painful social truths that cannot be shown through adults. Meaning like I said, it's more tragic in a way because the child is going through it. And I feel because it's in a child's perspective, filmmakers really have more, not in a sense of more creative freedom in really connecting more deeply, because a child is being not displayed, but demonstrated, and you can obviously connect to with it if you have kids, or obviously since you were once a kid. And I feel if you use adults, it's more complex in a way that kids won't be able to understand.